With Coach William Whitaker down at Southern Guilford. Just got finished in a big game tonight, beat Northeast Guilford, a team. Coach had beaten your team previously, beat the ladies from the Storm up at Northeast a few weeks back. Got a little bit of a, not to say revenge factor, but got a little back in order tonight. Got the team together. You said probably the best game overall. You played at least 3 to 4 complete quarters in this game tonight.
That's correct. This is the first time all year that I've been able to get the team to actually start a game, don't take time off, second quarter, third quarter, and then come back and try to come back from a huge deficit in the fourth quarter. Today, I think we played, well, tonight I think we played maybe about 3.5 quarters, or maybe 3 quarters and a quarter. And the reason being, I had to call timeout because we jumped off to maybe about a 25-point lead, and the girls started slacking some. And that's one of the things that I don't want to see happen. Even though we're a young team, we got to be able to play 4 complete quarters, start to finish.
I tell you, big number 33, very impressed with her, the freshman. I know we've seen the young lady over at Dudley the past few years, Miss Mays, Kayla Mays, and she's been a dominant force inside with her height. But big 33 for your team's got height. She's also got a little girth to go along with it. She's a power player. She could really be something big. She already is big size-wise, but could be a big-time player before she graduates.
Yes, I agree with that. That kid has been working hard all year round, and she's beginning now to buy into my system. She's a freshman, and early on, things that she's probably not accustomed to, she had to get adjusted to me. And what I mean by that, when a kid come here that has talent, it's up to me to get that talent out of them. Sometimes I have to push him and push him and push him. And, you know, this kid has responded a little later on in the season. She's working hard. She's paying attention. She's a little bit more focused. A lot of the things that I had to continue to go over and over and over with, again with her throughout the season, that's not happening now. So I think she's finally buying into what we're trying to do now.
Has she been in a system before? It's the first time she maybe had a structured system?
With no disrespect to anyone, I probably would have a tendency to agree with that. I've had several officials and opposing coaches that have seen this kid play early on. They say they've never seen her get up and down the floor like that, and hadn't seen this type of player that she's becoming now. And if this young lady stays with this, she can actually become one of the best players that ever come out of North Carolina, but it is up to her. Because I know what my plans has been for her, because the kid also can handle the ball a little bit, but we haven't been able to give her as much ball handling as we'd like because of some of the other things that she was lacking on.
How tall is she actually?
That kid's about 6'4".
She's 6'4" already and could keep growing. She's only like in the 9th grade. I like the way the guard's able to get that lob pass into her on the left and right blocks down low. I think McFarland and also Chandler outside able to get that little soft lob. Nice little move off the backboard, big number 33. And the other 2 players, 23, I think 21, when they got in the game, they're also big young ladies. They're able to do a lot of the same things. You've done a good job, you and your coaching staff, your assistant coach, working on those post plays on the inside are going to benefit you.
I appreciate that. What's her name? Kayla. Kayla, she's also a freshman. I can't remember what her number is right now, but I have always told her from day one, she's the key to this whole team right now as far as post players. This young lady has actually have the tools to also be my most dominant all-around post player. Like I said, she's a freshman also. It's just taking time. It's taking a little bit more time than I anticipated, but these young ladies are coming around, and we've got Taylor Moore, which is coming off the bench. She's a senior. Unfortunately, she didn't play last year, but she's beginning to put some things together, and hopefully we're gelling at the right time. Alani McFarland, the point guard, she's come a long way. She struggled a lot. She's probably my only point guard on this team, and you know, she struggled, but at the same time, she is peaking at the right time. And let's just hope and pray that she keeps that up.
And if these girls stay together and stay with you and stay with the program, some of these girls could exceed some of the numbers and accomplishments that Camille Horn put up while she was there possibly too down the road. And you look at the little Chandler girl outside, she's got a great three-point shot, yes. Great stroke outside. And it's one of those things you got to take enough to find the groove and get into it, but she can nail them outside.
That's right, and I did have to go back and say this on Haley Chandler. She's a junior. This kid has been with me since her freshman year. and I used to always get on her about her toughness. Now, this year, that kid is probably one of my toughest players on the team, and she showed a whole tremendous amount of leadership. I'm proud of her, and each game that we play, she's getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and I have to keep praising her. Also, Ariel Ellis, she's a key. Ariel, Alani, and Kalena. If we can get those three going at the same time, instead of one having a good game here and the other two struggling, or two out of the three, it can be a pretty thing. Hopefully, I hope that the kids are getting it together and we can make a strong push.
Coach William Whitaker with us, Southern Guilford Storm, big win tonight over Northeast Guilford. How in the world did Northeast beat you up at their place? The way you played tonight, you should probably win this conference. How did they knock you guys off up there?
Well, I think the girls went in, and I tell them every time we play any team, it doesn't matter. You have to go out and play hard, okay? If you play hard, everything else falls in place. And I got to give Northeast credit, and I've got to give their coaching staff some credit, because that first time when we played them over at Northeast, their girls played hard the entire game from start to finish, and that made the difference. And after the game, I told my players, I said, guys, I've been telling you this the entire year. If you play hard, everything else falls in place. And with Northeast playing hard as they did over at Northeast, their confidence and their chest got about this big. So it made all the difference in the world. And I mean, we just went over there thinking we're going to beat this team, and it just didn't happen that way.
If you play hard, everything falls in place. If you don't play hard, everything falls apart, I guess you might say.
That is correct.
Going back to the Page game, going way back to that scrimmage we saw you at over Page back in November, how would you grade and assess the team's improvement, how far they have come along since then?
Now, I've got to be totally honest. In my opinion, and unfortunately everyone has one, is right or wrong, I think Page is definitely one of the premier teams in this area to beat. With the Keys, the Johnson, and some of the other girls. I can't remember Brittany Drew's sister's first name, but she's pretty solid along with some other girls. Honestly, it's not any comparison with my team and their team, but from day one, when we scrimmaged them, and that's something Debbie Jones and I do every year, is we scrimmage each other. I would say on a scale from a 1 through a 10, we have improved probably about a 6 from that point.
So it might have been about a 3 or so back then, 1 or 2 or 3, and you've gone to about a 6 now?
Yeah, back then I think we may have been about a 2, and I have to say I'd have to give us a 2, because when we come to play, I think we can compete with anyone. But if we are intimidated by anyone, then it's a long game, because I've told my girls from day one, half of the battle would be won if you get out there and you're very aggressive with other young ladies and you're very focused. Half your battle's already won. But what happened, it was reversed on us. The girls come out and they're very aggressive with us, and then we just turn around and just let things happen.
And I guess when you're young, sometimes that can kind of bother you too, that intimidation factor when you got a young team.
Yeah, that youthness is, and I've heard that a lot the entire year, but maybe I'm just a little bullheaded, because I still think with the hard work, regardless if you were an 8th grader playing on the varsity team, I think with the hard work, I believe that, that youthness, you can kind of slip that by at times.
Well, Coach, big win for the team tonight, and this closes out the regular season. What's it look like as far as the tournament goes? How's that shape up for your team next week, the Southern Guilford Storm girls?
Well, I think we've got North Forsyth on Monday at 6 p.m. over here at Southern Guilford. And once again, I take nothing for granted. North Forsyth has been a team that, unfortunately, the girls are working a little hard, but they just hadn't been able to put 2 and 2 together. And I think eventually, sooner or later, they will.
Where does the tournament go after the first few rounds? Where do they play the finals?
After the first round, tournament will be held at Ledford.
Going to Ledford this year.
And once again, I might be sticking my foot in my mouth, but if our girls come out and play the way that I know they can play, some things may be a little different.
Well, Coach, good job tonight. I'm really glad you got the win to close out the regular season. First time we've had a chance to speak with you through the interview this year. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to seeing what this young team can do, and we're going to start seeing those young ladies get a little more recognition as they get a little bit more mature and keep improving. Then sky's the limit for these ladies, too. Look forward to seeing what they do in the future.
Yes, Andy, I really appreciate that, man, and thank you very kindly for what you have done in Greensboro and North Carolina with high school sports. Thank you a lot.